Go. And we're live. This is Nifty Culture. I'm Crypto Pio. I'm here with my guys Mal, Rob, and John. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Pio?
What's up, Pio?
Not too much. Lamping down in Miami. This is the Nifty Culture Friday Happy Hour, where we recap nifty news from the week. Why don't we kick it off talking about the CryptoPunks Christie's auction? We have one punk owner here. Rob, why don't you take it away? What are you thinking?
Thanks, Pio. Do you mind pulling up the webpage so we can get the exact numbers right? Because I believe so the auction happened just this week, and Christie's, who also did the Bleeple sell, they did was it a packet of punks? Wasn't it? It was a package of punks.
It was a packet of punks.
So it was a group.
Yep.
Okay, not an individual. So they sold a group, I believe, of how many? 9 rare punks.
10.
So 10 punks.
Or sorry, 9.
Yeah.
Okay. And it went for a pretty good, it makes me still feel good about the market. Huh?
Well,
I'm glad it held up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, he's getting that pulled up. You know, one of the things that's really interesting is, I think there's a lot of disappointment that has come initially from the punks. Well, he's pulling up all the details. Like, I think that there were a few individuals who were felt disrespected, where it feels that some of these crypto non-natives, I was on stage with G Money NFT on Clubhouse, talk about NFT NYC, and we were talking about the punks, and he was actually at the auction, and they actually had these post-it notes of these punks, and it was like a hidden thing where they're talking about or you'd say if you're at the Louvre, here's the Mona Lisa. They're saying oh, here's your obscure crypto punk. And I feel that while Christie's pretended it was awesome on the auctions, they kind of demeaned it in terms of the value that it was bringing. These are legitimately ranging from $60,000 to millions of dollars. And so I'm disappointed where they were. But Rob, sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to hop in there because I was on stage with G Money, who's also, you own a few punks, he owns a few punks, and he was at the auction and kind of was taken aback by it. So I'm curious what you think.
But he was physically at the auction?
He was physically in NYC and got a walkthrough.
Okay, because I would be curious, and it'd be interesting to me to see how many people who were bidding were actually in real life versus online. Therefore, does the real life display of it matter as much? It is a digital asset. It is digital, all that kind of stuff. So I see both sides. Did you see the response in Discord from the gentleman from Christie's who ran the project? The gentleman said, I meant no disrespect. In fact, I was trying to play homage to Banksy and to the art of how they did Space Invaders. And I remember to my time living in Europe and walking through Amsterdam, walking through Berlin, and seeing these obscure little Space Invaders everywhere. So I understand both sides, and I appreciate the response from the gentleman from Christie's. I thought that was really cool. So I don't believe they meant disrespect on it.
Yeah, he said that the creative idea behind it was that it was the punks broke into Christie's, right? Because it's the crypto punks, which I totally get it when you think about the cypher punks kind of legacy behind Bitcoin. But obviously there was a lot of outrage. So I think that he did a very well-worded response on Discord. He acknowledged himself as a suit, and people really appreciated it. And I think I don't know if it was G Money on Twitter or somebody, if not G Money, it was someone else. He said that he appreciated the guy's response and that he wanted to make changes in his mentality moving forward too.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That was cool. I think that was cool. But no, it would have been really nice if they balanced it out. I would have told them to balance it out. I said, if I was running that project at Christie's, I'd say, hey, look, balance it out. Play the fun little game, but let's have a beautiful, amazing display with in a beautiful frame and or a beautiful digital display, gorgeous, sitting up, kind of making up for it. That'd have been perfect.
I think so too. They definitely didn't hit it out of the park. I mean, so 17 million is a solid number for the sale of these, but then again, there have been multiple punks that sold for over $1 million in the past month. Amoebit actually sold for over $1 million in the past week, I think, which is nuts. You have two, Rob?
2 Amoebits, because I have the 2 CryptoPunks. Wow. And that's why I don't worry about any of this. OG, you hold on to it, this stuff is going to come back. Come on, my Bitcoin buddy. Come on, my Bitcoin buddy.
Nah, man.
Yeah, you get it, man.
Ethereum for life, right? I wish Villery had
you flipping her. You flipping her.
No, I've always been hoping for a payday. You know, it's interesting. You know, Villery will hop, or Mike will hop on in the future. But he shared some data today about the flippening, where like today, within the last 24 hours, Bitcoin miners made 90 million and Ethereum miners made like 119 million. And so when you think about that switch, and then fundamentally when we think of proof of work versus proof of stake, or whatever it's called, it's going to be an interesting time for us to see over the next 6 months what actually happens. The most exciting thing for me, and I think, you know, when I saw G Money talking about Christie's and really sharing some of the pictures about what was going on, I was insulted. And I think that it's one of these things that it's like someone who doesn't know how people would respond. It's like if you invite me into hey Brandy, if you invite us into your house, like treat us with the same respect. And I didn't view it as that way. I was like, oh man, they're demeaning this. But then now it makes total sense, where they're trying to pay homage, where they're like, had it been a big, bold, huge, the entire thing of a CryptoPunk, someone would have been like, man, that's garbage. That's not what we stand for. So like, no matter what, people are unhappy. So it actually, I forgive them, and I'm embarrassed now to say, like, hey, like with the response that came through, I was reading it while you guys were talking. It's really exciting to see that they're trying to embrace the community, and it's exciting that Sotheby's and Christie's, they view this as a stream for the future. We're at the pinnacle right now. We're like, this is like the 3rd or 4th auction from a major auction house, and they're very quick to respond. They're very, very quick to come out, and they're very quick to say, no, you think we meant this, but we meant this. And that means that like, for me, that this is the future. Like, people are embracing it. People are coming through, and that for me is really, really exciting.
Rob, you know, you mentioned what would have made it perfect. You know, hearing the response, you know, they should have like leaked beforehand, or had somebody ready to be like, hey, this is homage to this. Don't let the community try to interpret, because, man, get yourself in trouble doing that.
I agree. It was nice. Mm-hmm.
But they came back quick. Yeah,
they did come back quick, but
yeah.
But when is Christie's going to auction an ape? Bored Ape Yacht Club. I said that right before I saw it. Ape in, everybody. Apes for life. What's up, Daniel? Thank you as always. Ape in for life.
I feel like they're going to auction off a Amoebit before they auction off an ape, but I wouldn't rule out the idea of them auctioning off an ape. I think Trevor Jones is actually going to be the next NFT artist to be auctioned by a major auction house. I'm pretty sure, officially.
So here's my bet.
Show everyone the size of that. Show people, like, if you win a Trevor Jones giveaway, like, he is not kidding. Like, that thing's almost as tall as you. That thing's crazy.
It's about 4 feet. Yeah, the Bitcoin Angel. Yeah, going to the framers on Monday.
So explain what that is for the people that aren't following Trevor Jones as closely. So in full disclosure, we spent a lot of time talking about Nifty Gateway and those types of things, but a lot of our followers on Nifty Culture, when I asked, like, I sent out a survey really during the POC piece, and like over 50% of the responses were who's POC. So our community of Nifty Culture followers are artists who are on Rarible, Mintable, Hin, otherwise, who aren't necessarily coming from the Wall Street side of everything. What's up, Christian? Thank you so much. So when we think about, like, we spend a lot of time focusing on what Nifty Gateway, and thank you for Nifty Gateway for giving us exciting art and promoting all these things. But when we look at it from that perspective, and we also think about how much community and how many people are artists and growing and changing, when I asked the community on Twitter, how many of you even know what the POC auction was, over 50% were like, who's POC? They didn't know about all the cubes. They didn't know about all this and that. That everyone knows Beeple because Beeple's an artist before he was a big part of Nifty Gateway. But when we think about this, a lot of our collectors don't know this. So, Rob, if you could spend a couple minutes explaining how the Bitcoin Angel project went, explaining all that type of stuff, and then pulled up that beautiful brown cardboard chain that's got a piece of magic inside of it. That would be awesome.
You made me excited. So I think you could classify Trevor Jones as probably one of the OGs, right, of the Nifty digital art space. So I think he's probably been in the game for 4 or 5 years, I think, pretty heavily, and started to dedicate to digital art. I would say that he's more of a traditional artist that turns his traditional art into digital NFTs. The really neat thing about Trevor Jones is that traditional background, that history. So you can easily go back and see what his past projects look like. His past projects have sold in galleries. He has galleries. He's sold a lot of physical art as well. But what he did during that transition from the traditional art to the digital realm was he incorporated major AR into a lot of his art as well. So like the crypto bull that I have that's going to be there, and also at the Bitcoin Angel, you can actually put your phone up to it and it has this AR functionality, which is really neat. Really appeals to anybody, any of the traditional art, physical art people, because you have this digital connection with a piece of physical. So Trevor Jones, probably about 4 years has been into the Nifty space, and I first saw him through Crypto Bull that launched on Nifty Gateway about a year ago, probably about a year ago now. And he's had these
Picasso's bull?
The Picasso bull, the Picasso crypto bull, correct. And so he's had these kind of milestone pieces that everyone knows about. He has the ETH Boy with Valak for Ethereum. Mm-hmm. And the neat thing about a lot of his digital art is that it has programmable layers on it, like ETH Boy does. So the AR functionality is really neat. Anyways, so he also adds a really cool gamification to his Nifties, and he's starting to. I think he's one of the forefronters, not only in the digital art space, traditional art, bringing to digital art, but also in the gamification of the space. So what he's done is he's made his own TJ Art Discord. So Trevor Jones has a Discord group that's strictly for people who own Bitcoin Angels. So a Bitcoin Angel, I think it's anybody who owns any Trevor Jones, probably. It'd be any Trevor Jones. So I highly recommend you check out the Discord, the TJ Art Discord. And what he did then was start to put together additional raffles, additional games for existing holders, which will increase holders, which increases activity around the projects, which increases the longevity and the overall sustainability of his projects for investments. So it was really neat. So he did a Bitcoin Angel drawing. So he took all the Bitcoin Angels. I think there's what, 3,000?
Like over 4,000. Yeah.
Over 4,000. So there's over 4,000. He just did a randomizer. And what he did was he gave out one Bitcoin Angel print, which really spurred a lot of activity around the project. There was some really cool secondary sales right before the whole gamification and a whole raffle happened. And it just so happened that he pulled my number. So I'm super grateful. It was amazing. I'm a huge Trevor Jones fan. And so we're going to take this bad boy to the framers on Monday, and then we'll put it next to the Crypto Bull, and we'll have it here for you guys.
Yeah, and so there's some chat. There's some chat, and I want to stay on this topic, but Daniel, yeah, absolutely. Like we rank all of the marketplaces internally. We don't do it externally because it does a disservice to everybody. Art is a very subjective and objective medium. And when you think about the subjectivity of our opinions versus your opinions, who am I to say that an artist on Rareable is not as good as an artist on Nifty Gateway or an artist on Super Rare? That's not our job. But to say that the amount of curation that happens, and when your question specifically, sophisticated and wealthy buyers, absolutely. If you're going after specific fewer amounts or fewer drops, fewer mints within a collection, super rare is definitely what we consider. Previously, it would have been Nifty Gateway. Now, super rare is arguably the best. And Christian, once again, congratulations on your super rare drop that's about to come. Thank you for always attending these. You are the GOAT. We can't wait to get you on. But when we think about the ability for artists to go and collect, we also see top-tier artists, the blue chips, who are going on Hen, going on Rarible. Everyone's still exploring the space. Everyone forgets that Foundation is it's right over 90 days old. And so when you think about all of the places, and Christian, definitely DM Daniel, because Daniel's investing pretty heavily in the crypto space. I think y'all connecting would be good for each other. But when please, y'all need to meet. But when we think about the community and we think about all the things that people need to do and the things that people need to learn about each other, and the fact that just because I'm a tier 1 or a god tier marketplace today doesn't mean that I'm going. If another comedian comes on Nifty Gateway, it might be the end of Nifty Gateway, and I hope it's not. But when we think about just all the things that are moving, this is a very fast-moving space. And so for us to say that we're on a god tier or a tier 1 marketplace here and other marketplaces aren't as good, what we think is important is exclusivity and demand. And what's interesting, to bring it back briefly to Bitcoin Angel, because I mean, I'm inspired every day. You know, Rob has the Phil Hellmuth mentality that if it wasn't for luck, he'd win every time. In terms of the type of stuff that he gets, is that Trevor Jones, and Trevor Jones took a lot of flack for the Paris Hilton Blake Catherine. I'm a big Blake Catherine fan. We've reached out. We're actually doing a lot right now, and we have a project in place right now that we're excited to announce in the near future. PO is actively right now. We are being intentional that the artists that we bring on and interview, we want to have equality and parity with everything. So if you're a female artist and you're watching this today, please reach out. We'd love to interview you. My wife is so excited for the Blake Catherine. I'm excited for Blake Catherine. Tovlo is one of my favorite artists. I was jamming her last summer. We're super excited about everything. But to remove all of that and talk a little bit about the Trevor Jones, when he was talking about his goal for Bitcoin Angel and the fact that he was excited about the 4,000 plus drops, you know, he wanted this to be what was Jack Veterano. I can't even say it properly right now. It's happy hour time. But it was the Singing Butler. And the Singing Butler was a piece that was originally, when it was published, it was mass produced. And over time, the Singing Butler became more and more renowned. And ultimately, it became a very, very collected piece and became the heart and the soul of a lot of collectors in a purely print sense. And so some of the stuff that Trevor Jones wants Bitcoin Angel to be, just like Blau wants Faces to be, is to be the epitome of crypto art. He wants true collectors to have a piece of this. And what's really cool, and I'll shut up here in a minute, is that when you think about Bitcoin Angel, a lot of the artists, and artists we love, I'm a huge fan of Dot Pigeon. I hope Dot Pigeon is listening. We've done a lot with Dot Pigeon behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, but he didn't need to have a burn mechanism for Alexa. Alexa was a strong piece on its own. But then everyone was doing gamification. Mad Dog Jones was buying back cats left and right. Thank you, Mad Dog Jones. That was the right thing. But then everyone started saying, hey, let's buy this piece. Let's burn it. Let's burn it. Let's get rid of it. Let's create fewer and fewer pieces because that will increase the value of it. Trevor Jones did the exact opposite. Trevor Jones said, you know what? If you hold it and you hold it for this long, boom, you might get a print. Boom, you might get a Conor McGregor. And we still need to have, I think in the near future, we need to do the Joe Rogan and say, instead of having a nifty night, one Saturday night, we need to have a UFC live stream because we got a bunch of UFC fans. We got PO who studies some of the martial arts. But anyway, beside that, the point is that Trevor Jones keeps providing value. And if you're a Bitcoin Angel owner, you get to have the benefit of that value. When Bitcoin reaches $77,700. A random collector, not someone who burns it, a random collector of that art is going to have a custom art for them or their family, which is really, really cool. And when we think about the fact that this artist is probably going to be on Christie's, this artist is probably going to be on Sotheby's, you're going to have a custom piece of art. One of 5,000 people is going to have a custom piece of art.
Dude, imagine having that picture of like you and your family, bro.
I want wings in an Ethereum.
Yeah, you would make like a
Bitcoin.
You in the middle like this. You in the middle like this with your family around to him in a
We're the Miller Lite. We're a Barton House.
Dude, he could drop your head
Malakai's got
on
an illustrious robe.
Black hat
Yeah,
for life.
so-
Nifty Culture. Shout out to Christian. Thank you for the piece. Daniel, you guys need to talk. Sorry. Anyway, I went on a diatribe there, so I apologize.
No, it's all good. And I think that, the point, I forgot about the fact that Bitcoin Angel has that $77,777 Bitcoin price point built in. And I forgot that we haven't hit that yet, which is hilarious. So probably in the next 2 to 3 months, I imagine that there will be another pump. It's interesting because I use the Bitcoin Angel as like a little bit of a temperature check on the Nifty Gateway market in general, because when that's down, it's kind of like the whole market's down. When the market's up, that piece is up. The peak, we saw it selling routinely for between 3,000 and 4,000. There have been some really big sales for the super low mints. So yeah, I mean, I'm always keeping an eye on that piece. I have 2 copies of it. I know, Rob, you have 4 copies of it. And yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I'm the only person without a copy.
I'll sell you one.
You won't sell me a Faces? Rob goes, whenever I ask Rob a question, I was like, hey, Rob, sell me a Faces. He goes, And then I asked him a question on the G chat, and I was like, hey, Rob, what do you think about this? And he just goes, And I'm like, I just got your tell. You lying? He won't sell it.
That means no.
So, Theo, what does the range look like on the Angel? Kind of keeping temperature on them. I'm curious what they drop down to buy. Since everybody's got one, maybe
right now it's 1450. Right now 1450.
You get it for like 12.
I think if you put a global offer out on Bitcoin Angel right now at 1,200, maybe even 1,100, the paper hands have been so present over the past 2 weeks. Fewocious's Victor and Victoria sold for $1,100 twice. I could not believe that. And my CryptoCaster that I spent $2,200 on is literally selling routinely for $800 right now. Like a lot of the market, the secondary market is just completely on fire. I would say that $1,100, I'd bet if you just sit there and let, wait for it over maybe 10 days, 14 days, you'll get yourself a Bitcoin Angel. And that also means that you have a ticket to the Trevor Jones Castle party that I'm sure me and Rob will both be at. I hope that you guys are at the Collectors Castle party in Scotland, where we're just going to be chopping it up with everyone from gambling degenerates to billionaires, and Trevor Jones himself just eating wine and drinking wine and eating cheese with some sophisticated art collectors. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, let's get to Daniel's question. Malachi, so you want to kind of give Daniel a little bit of insight on what he's looking for?
Real quick, I just want to say, hey, John, do you own a Nifty Gateway?
I do not own a Nifty Gateway drop. Not yet.
Do you own any Nifty?
Yes. I own NFTs. Yes,
you own some Abegachi.
I do.
And some Threadkill art.
Dude, I do. I own a very rare Threadkill art. First mint from Threadkill art, which, by the way, is going to be iconic one day.
Shout out to Threadkill art.
Yep.
Wearable. You can look at the Reckoning piece. I think owning a Bitcoin Angel would be fun. I think you should do it.
What do they drop at?
You need to get that, bro. You need to get one.
How much were they when they dropped?
777 at drop.
So right now on stream, Rob, you've got a standing offer for $1,000. Let me see your paper hands drop to your bro. You got 4 of them. Part with one.
I'd give you one, John, because I love you.
You won't give me offenses? You don't love me?
See how easy that is?
I lived with John. John, we lived together for so long.
I lived with you.
49.15 for life, baby.
Right. I lived on Suffolk, you mother.
That's true too. We lived together as well.
And you're like, no Faces. Right. Faces cost.
I'll give you both a screen print.
No. Anyway,
That's great, Chris. Is that
So
a Control C, Control V?
Daniel, yeah, the chat is trying to bring us back. So Daniel,
Okay.
to your question, sorry, happy Friday, everybody. But when we think about it, the fact that he has 500,000 followers, there's some limitations that you have to think about where you have to apply to a lot of these marketplaces. What's interesting is to say if you have 500,000 followers, like this is not a popular opinion, but I actually think that the fact that Larva Labs and others can go on Super Rare and control their drop and have access now, OpenSea. OpenSea has a lot more credibility than it's ever had because I can go buy my apes. I can go buy my CryptoPunks. I can go buy my MeBits. I can buy a lot from OpenSea. The issue that you have right now, and Daniel, if you message us privately, we can introduce you to the right people. That's not a guarantee. We can just tell you who the right people are. We have a couple people that we know at Super Rare, but no one we've introduced has gotten onto Super Rare because of our introductions, and full disclosure. But the odds that if you have 500,000 Instagram followers is going to make them pay a lot more notice to you. The things that matter to the marketplaces like Super Rare versus the others, or does your art tell a story? And if your art does truly tell a story, if I look at your piece of art and it tells me a story, I can look at it and it's not just a cash grab. It's not just a blank canvas with shiny stuff on it. If my art is truly unique and it tells a story, I'm more likely to be successful. And so it really depends on the type of artist. And so, while we can't get them to the front of the line, we can definitely tell you who to reach out to that can help you. But it's not a guarantee. So how can you control your controllables? You can get on Foundation through invitation. We're happy to help your friend with that. We can also, say that you don't go on Rarible, don't go on Mintable. Those are great marketplaces. But if they want to be a premier artist and you don't want to drop multiple pieces of art on multiple platforms, that's the biggest no-no you have. So it's better to protect your art and make sure that you wait until you're accepted. And if they truly do have 500,000 followers on Instagram, it's worth waiting in that process. What I recommend is, honestly, Christian is a big advocate in the space. There's others. Connect with known artists who have the connections, and they'll be able to help you. Oh, Super Rare. Well. Yeah, Super Rare. Dude, done. Crypto.com, reach out to Noe. Crypto.com is great. Binance, this is the thing. Super Rare is established. Binance is trying to make their NFT space. Coinbase is about to try and launch their NFT space. Crypto.com is trying. There's going to be Gary Vee's launching Recur in the next month. Here's the thing. Right now, if the two top, agnostic of anything else, it's Nifty Gateway and Super Rare. If you want to be on those, if you want to make a bunch of money, you could do a 10 of 10 on Maker's Place, but that's not going to make you as much money as a one-on-one on Super Rare. And if you can get a hold of Tommy or any of the other guys at Nifty Gateway and you're that big, hold out. But they're so backlogged, they're canceling stuff. You're not going to get on Nifty Gateway for 9 more months. If Nifty Gateway keeps screwing up, you're not going to want to be on Nifty Gateway in 9 months. If you can get on Super Rare, get on Super Rare. You're going to have the reputation. You're going to have the goals. You're going to have built a name for yourself. And then you can pick what marketplace. You can go on Hand and have drops. Awesome. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
You're good. So, yeah, I mean, very, very insightful stuff. And I think a lot of artists are definitely curious, what platforms are the ones, like when I was talking to Matthew last week, very, very successful, prolific photographer, worked with Aretha Franklin for the last 13 years of her life, did multiple album covers for her, but that doesn't automatically mean that he gets accepted to, the premier NFT platforms. Maybe if it was early 2020, that would be the case, but not right now. So yeah, I think, sorry, I'm just paying attention to what Daniel's saying. I think that, that's something definitely to keep in mind. So just shifting the subject a little bit, I wanted to talk a little bit about NFT NYC, which is my understanding is that that's the #1 NFT in-person convention in the world so far. It sounds like there's a good probability that everyone on this call plus Mike will be on a panel speaking live there. So really excited about that. But yeah, I mean, just going into that, I know that they've already started doing Clubhouse discussions, and Malachi's been a part of one already. What do you think that event means to the NFT space? What do you guys think that, that's going to kind of do, having an in-person gathering that people are going to be able to kind of check out NFTs and hear people speak at?
So I think very briefly, and we reached out to NFT NYC. There's 100% certain. Rob, I think, has already booked the hotel rooms because of his excitement to get us out there. But I think, we'd love to be out there. We're going to be out there as a panel, and we're going to be out there. We're going to Maracho, who's a big Discord person, some of the other people. We're going to be reaching out to a ton of people. And I suspect that we will have a panel. We will have space. We're trying to get booth space. It's going to be live, right? We're going to be exiting the pandemic. It's going to be a great thing. NFT NYC was live before the pandemic. So when you think about the excitement, this will be year 3 of NFT NYC. They had over 1,000 participants the first year. They're expecting more this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that it's going to be a great space for us to all get out there if we can. I think that it's going to be a little bit of caution where people are coming back. Some of the things that we're most excited about, though, to kind of bring it broader is like, how do we start seeing these NFT galleries? How do we start seeing like some of the things where some of these local communities pop up, where we're even talking about it as soon as we get some, additional funding, where most of us are in Dallas, Fort Worth, but like, can we create these creative spaces artists can come and create together? And we have displays on the wall that are perpetuating, NFTs, and help people like Black Dove who are trying to show this. And so as the digitization of art occurs and the Decentraland parties start happening, can there be a simultaneous NFT NYC and Decentraland type of thing? So I think there's a lot of potential right now for the future of that space. But I think NFT NYC is going to be exciting. I'm excited to travel. My wife and I love New York City. I hope we all get to go out there and party together. And anyone who watches this either now, tomorrow, or in the future, we hope that y'all are with us. We'd be happy to meet up.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be burning the city down. I can only imagine what's going to happen between now and then. I'm sure Rob will have won like 20 more Trevor Jones and other artist-related giveaways. I'm sure Malachi will have, minted about 100 NFTs. And I'm sure Ethereum will go to the moon, and John will just be riding on that spaceship. But yeah, so I'm looking at Daniel's last question here. He said, okay, sorry, he's still writing it. Pricing in ETH or US dollars? So I'm assuming you're asking like what we think is better for artists. I mean, over the past month, it's been pricing in ETH, but and probably for the rest of this bull run, right? Like everyone's so surprised, and John is definitely a better person to talk about this than me. But just from my perspective, since like last summer, since like summer 2020, everybody's been saying like Bitcoin 200K, Ethereum 10K, and now that Ethereum's at like 4K, I feel like everyone's acting so surprised. It's like, well, doesn't it have to hit 4K to get to 10K? So I think that it's going to continue through the end of this year. Daniel, I see you're saying long term. Long term, I think Bitcoin's the play, but like ETH for the rest of this year is probably a really, really, really good thing for artists to do in terms of pricing. But I don't know anything about the short term outlook, like literally the next month or so. John, if you want to weigh in on ETH and you're kind of what you're thinking the price action is going to look like here.
I mean, Pio, honestly, for me, it's just moon. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way, man. I mean, near term, short term, midterm. For an artist right now, your best bet is pricing Ethereum. I mean, the price of Ethereum is it's going to continue to go up. There's going to be it's going to be deflationary here soon. Demand drivers, institutional demand is like at an all-time high. VCs are investing more capital than ever, and like you can now value applications on Ethereum with traditional valuation models, right? It's not speculative or memes, or you're seeing a lot of that still, but there's a ton of what I call traditional money, smart money, venture capital that is looking at how much money these applications are making, how much money they're going to make, the available market they're going after, and They want Ethereum. And what they want to happen is they want people who were speculators buying for the meme, buying for the pump. They want those folks to sell. They want to dip and they want to buy. And that's why you notice every time there's like a market pullback, you know, Ethereum is almost immediately the first to bounce back every time. And the reason is because there's so much, it's at a point now because of the market cap where it's liquid enough for institutional money to buy it. So for artists, man, Ethereum all the way. Keep doing it. That's the market that NFTs were born in. It's going to continue to grow, and you know that's where I'm at. Don't press yourself in USD because USD, the cash is trash. I mean, you put it in USD, and you know 2 weeks from now it's worth less. So.
You know, very briefly, I agree with you. I'm curious if Rob is turning into a convert, or I think Pio's a little bit more firm in his Bitcoin ways. You know, I think that Viller and I have been more on the Ethereum side, and once again, it could be FOMO that like, hey, we see more upside short term in Ethereum, but the more that Ethereum gets tested, the more Ethereum fights back. And the more, you know, if the big test is if Ethereum doesn't figure out proof of work, proof of stake, it's all over. But if they do successfully make that transition, it's the future. And Ethereum could go to 10 grand very quickly. So Rob, I'll throw it to you.
No, I'm still like Pio. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I believe in the Bitcoin true decentralization. However, I have been buying more Ethereum now. I for the past 3 weeks, I've just been buying Ethereum right now. Yeah. Because there's going to be a bigger upside on my money in the future to buy more Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I've been buying.
But I use Ethereum all the time, dude. When I buy art, I use Ethereum all the time. Yeah. You know, I don't use Bitcoin.
Yeah. Here's my thing with Ethereum, and I get what Rob's saying, and I know I have two, you know, big-time Ethereum guys here that are more qualified to talk about any of this stuff than me, so I totally respect that. I own Ethereum. I've owned Ethereum for as long as I've owned Bitcoin. I buy way more Bitcoin now because Bitcoin is truly decentralized and will remain that way. I do believe that you need proof of work to accomplish what Bitcoin is looking to accomplish. Ethereum is just a different thing, so I don't do like the Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but my question for John, as like an Ethereum expert, is what about demonetization by a competitor? Like my friend is in my ear about Cardano, that Cardano is going to demonetize Ethereum, whether or not it's that particular asset. Can't Ethereum or any proof of stake asset for that matter, can't they be demonetized by a competitor? Whereas Bitcoin, you know, gold doesn't really have a competitor. So to me, Bitcoin won't have a competitor to accomplish what it's looking to accomplish.
Well, I mean, that's a high level question, but you know, my 2 cents on it is all of these coins. I mean, when you're talking about VeeFriends or CryptoPunks or Bored Ape Yacht Club or a Bitcoin or Ethereum or ADA, whatever it is you're talking about, they all derive value because people think they have value. And the more people that think they have value, the more valuable it is. So, you know, what you're really talking about is network effect, and who has the biggest network effect. And historically, it's always been Bitcoin. And so gold prior to Bitcoin, and still, you know, still right now, but I think that's changing, has the biggest network, right? People believe that gold has value. And, you know, I don't see that changing, but millennials, new people, they want the digital gold. So Bitcoin, I think, is going to continue to grow. Now, in terms of like a smart contract platform, really what all competitors are going to struggle to do is break the network effect that Ethereum has, because it's really, really massive. And it's not like it's organic. So it's natural. Like you have the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, which is a bunch of corporate entities that came together to learn about how Ethereum works. Not necessarily blockchain, but how Ethereum works. And so there's a sunken cost there. So you're talking about 4 years of major corporations investing their time and energy into, you know, learning how to utilize Ethereum. So this isn't, I mean, it's going to be very hard. And you kind of see this, right? There's like Solana and what else? There's EOS and Tron and Binance. All of these players are trying to break the Ethereum network. And I've got some friends that are really big Cardano fans. They subscribe to the Hodgkin, he calls them sermons He goes on 2 times a day and he does his sermons to his followers. And where he's doing a great job, right? He's pumping his coin, he's building his network. But all of them have built bridges to Ethereum. Ethereum's not building bridges to other layer ones because the network effect exists on Ethereum. It's real. It's a moat. Solidity was developed. If you're a developer, you have to learn Solidity because it's basically like Java. It's not the best, but everybody uses it and they have to use it because that's where the money's made. So, I mean, to me, to overcome Ethereum is going to be an incredible task. Now, I will say this. I think of all the different L1 competitors, Solana, I think, has got a really cool use case. I think they're approaching it very aggressively, which is awesome. I think Binance is, what CZ's done is incredible. And then I will say this for Cardano. I think what they're doing in Africa, I think is really smart. Going after some of the underserved markets, but I'll caveat that with, it's an underserved market. And while Charles might tell his followers that there's no real apps or usage and it's, DeFi is easy, and he makes a lot of bold claims, but the truth is that there's a ton of VC and enterprise use of Ethereum right now in Quorum. So, it's a little bit intellectually dishonest for him to say what he says, but I get why he's saying it, right? He's got to pump his coin. So here's my deal, right? Long story short, Ethereum has the biggest network. So hold on a second. I'm here talking shit. So Ethereum has the biggest network, and it's going to be really difficult to displace it. So if I'm an artist, I'm still pricing in Ethereum.
Daniel said something about
Sorry, now I'm trying to figure out who's getting the Discord.
It's got to be John. But it sounds like there's going to be a debate tomorrow about Ethereum versus dollars. Daniel, do you want to type in like where that is? Because I'd be curious to watch that myself, and I think the audience would like to be able to see that debate too. I don't know what channel that's on, but if you ping it out, we'll definitely talk about it here. Just to circle back to the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're going to be dropping merch. I really think that stuff like that, like doing limited edition merch to an already limited edition NFT, like an NFT just collection is going to be really, really cool for the long term. Like, I don't think there's any, is there Larva Labs merch like for CryptoPunks or MeBets? Probably not, right?
It's too exclusive. You got to be rich. If I'm wearing Gucci, I'm not wearing Bored Ape Yacht Club. That's the thing that makes Bored Ape Yacht Club unique, is that it was accessible and people could afford it early on. So like they're going to have high-end merch. It's going to be very nice cloth. It's going to be accessible. It's going to be community driven. I think I mean like people are priced out of punks. When MeBits dropped, people were priced out. When VeeFriends dropped, people were priced out. I set my floor at $2,000. Yeah, like who in the middle of one of the greatest hypothetical depressions of society, where if I'm a Gary Vee fan and I have to use 2 of my stimulus checks to attend VeeFriends, to attend VeeCon, or I can go buy food or something else, like, and I have to pay gas fees. I pay $400, 20% of gas fees to attend. What am I going to do? Am I going to attend VeeFriends? But if I can buy an 8 for 0.1, and especially where Ethereum was a couple weeks ago, it's a lot more accessible. So yeah, I could still ape in. I could be a part of a community. I could be a part of something bigger and have fun in a blockchain environment and get to know some people and buy some apes. I think that that's pretty cool. Maybe I'm being a little bit provocative, but I think that like that's part of the problem right now, is that for me to buy a punk, like punks are being sold in Christie's and Sotheby's. I have to own a punk to get a MeBit.
Yeah,
I could own an ape. I could own an ape.
You got to be early.
It's like, what's going on right now? Like, and I don't mean to be too provocative, but like, this should be accessible. We should build communities. We should come together.
Your Timex is cool, bro. My Rolex is cooler.
Apple.
All right, so we got a viewer that Yeah, that is the problem. You have to either be early, like Rob was to CryptoPunks, to be able to get them for an accessible price, which anybody can do, right? Anybody can really be early to something if they do the work to try to find it. Obviously, you have to like kind of build relationships with other people, because it's just much easier to do it in a team-based environment than doing it alone. I pulled up this question from Dabs. He said suggestion for a future topic.
Before you say that, I'm gonna do something dangerous, and I'm gonna be provocative. I'm gonna say, Daniel, why don't you come on next Friday for 15 minutes and tell us how it goes tomorrow.
That'd be fun.
Recap that. You've attended so many of our things. And Christian, we're still interviewing you. We'd love to have you on as well. But Daniel, you've been such an active participant. Come on for 15 minutes next Friday. That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah, that's not provocative. No, it's not provocative at all. That's necessary. You hear that, Daniel? That's necessary. So we want to see your face. So I got this question here from Dabs, and we'll look forward to talking to Daniel next week. Probably our most active. Awesome. Sounds good, Daniel. Well, we can't wait to have you. Our most active viewer, or one of the most, I should say. We have a few active viewers, and we really appreciate everyone. Dabs, another active viewer, suggestion for a future topic: demystify the NFT market, unpack platforms, pricing, value, processes for both collectors and artists. And then we look at the next one. He said, right now there's so much interest, but many are on the sideline due to a lack of clarity. Many from the traditional market are leaning in to find their way in, but the info is just spotty. So on drop watch videos, I talk about this, so I'll show myself for 1 second. The drop structure, I think, is one of the most important factors, right? There's always going to be collections that catch fire and are super hot. Bored Apes were super hot right off the bat. CryptoPunks is like a storied sort of collection in the sense that it was a giveaway, finite amount years ago, effectively the first major NFT release ever. And the combination of that and the fact that the artwork itself is actually really cool. There's certain punks that are rare. No two punks are the same. All of these different factors went into it and made it, effectively the coolest collection that's ever came out. Meebits is the follow-up on that. So there's always going to be these really hot collections. But on an individual drop basis, the drop structure is one of the most important things. It's essentially the combination of like the artist's notoriety, or the artist's popularity, I should say, how many mints are being put out, combined with the way those mints are being put out and the cost of the mints, right? So those are the things that really come into play, and you have to pay attention to them. It's just a combination of all those factors. If anyone here, because I know we have a lot of artists, if anyone here is a photographer, just like when you build a photograph, it's a combination of aperture, ISO, shutter speed, and focus, obviously. All those things have to come together, and if one of those is out of whack, the picture is going to be completely barbecued. It's the same thing with the drop. With the Justin Roiland second drop, for example, the drop structure did not favor collectors at all. It still sold out because it was Justin Roiland, and it was structured in a way that promoted a sellout because of the quantity of drawings. But the number of mints and the cost of those mints did not yield a strong secondary market performance. So that's the stuff that you have to look out for if you're looking for NFTs on an individual basis. But having said that, over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, really no open edition NFTs for the most part have appreciated. It's only been drawings from notable artists, or drawings that had like an incredibly low price point, for example, $1 drawings that have come out. So I don't know if anyone has anything, to add to that, but that's kind of the long and short of what I'd say about, if you're weary about getting into the NFT market, those are the things you have to pay attention to.
No, we need to whiteboard it out for somebody. We need to have a video that whiteboards things out for them so they understand how to buy it, the different platforms, ones that require MetaMask versus like a nifty gateway platform that onboards with credit card. They want to know where it goes after that. What can I do with it? That kind of stuff. We need to make a good video like that. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Get to know the nifty.
And I agree. Like, we need to do that. Is this coming from the art? Am I an artist or am I a collector? And I think like that's a completely different perspective. And this also goes back to one of the comments before. Are we collecting in ETH, or are we collecting in, because if I'm on Foundation, like the fact that the cheapest piece I can collect on Foundation is 0.1 ETH, which is $400, but I can find a lot of art for under $400 on Nifty Gateway because it's priced in dollars. And I can buy another Faces and enter a Blau drawing on Sunday for right above 0.1 ETH. But if I'm giving up 0.1 ETH, I'm looking at future value of ETH. If I'm giving up $1, I'm looking at future value of dollars. And to John's point earlier and Rob's point, future value of dollars is like this, future value of ETH is like this. And so Rob made a really interesting point, and I do the same thing. I think we all do. Every time I spend 0.01 ETH, boom, buy another ETH. Any transaction I conduct with Ethereum is simultaneously buying the exact same back 100% of the time. So if I'm on a marketplace like Maker's Place or Nifty Gateway, it's easy for me where it's like, oh, cool, those dollars are worth less tomorrow. But if I'm on Foundation, it's a lot harder for me. And I'm a big fan of Foundation. I've bought quite a bit of art on Foundation. Rarible, I was a big fan. I'm still a decent fan. For whatever reason, I feel that more transactions fail on Rarible. It might be just my perspective. It might not be real, but that costs me ETH. And so everything that costs me ETH costs me future dollars. And that's a big concern of mine.
So you have that layer of concern. Then you have the gas fee on top of that as an additional layer of concern. Whereas when I use my credit card, I get a 2% cash back.
That's a different story.
We're going
especially
to Cabo.
When
Well, makes it easier.
By the
it
way,
makes it way easier.
Real quick, because I wasn't on for the discussion on ETH fees, but the gas fees. The only thing that Ethereum is waiting for is for a centralized exchange to allow withdrawals onto a scaling solution, a layer 2. And when that happens, and your funds can go directly from Coinbase or Gemini or what have you to a marketplace on layer 2, we won't be talking about fees anymore. You'll be able to transact for fractions of a penny. It'll be lightning fast. And so that's why I say continue to price in ETH. We're literally probably, my guess is less than a couple months away from that actually happening, from a major announcement where they will allow you to withdraw your crypto, specifically ETH or any other ERC20 or 721 directly onto a layer 2. So the fees is big now, but 2 months from now you won't be hearing about it anymore.
Yeah, there's a couple questions coming in. I think. Sorry, I'm just watching this like a hawk today. I think like one of the biggest challenges is most of the marketplaces that you buy on ETH, you can't resell your art. So you have to buy it on Foundation. Foundation is going to have the secondary market soon, but then I have to go sell it on OpenSea. How many people really want to buy it on OpenSea? This is why, Daniel, when you were asking earlier, if I'm an artist, like why not just go directly to OpenSea? Larva Lab, like there's so many projects that went directly to OpenSea that you could buy directly on OpenSea. And then you've built your marketplace, so you're building a community there. Hey, buy from Foundation, sell on OpenSea. That's confusing to people. Like go to where they can have the most direct access is really important. And the unofficial knee bits, I saw like Larva Labs was protecting their IP, but like the derivative value, like how close is the derivative and how much do you want to protect your IP? There's a lot of frustration right now where it's like, I can have my Picasso apes. I can have my Picasso space apes. I can have my Picasso space crypto failure apes. I can have my baby apes. Like the derivatives are cool, but like, once again, going back to my previous statement, like if I'm spending ETH on these derivatives of these projects, it's FOMO. And so it's cool to be like, hey, I'm going to create these fake things. I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club did it well. I'm sorry to be so bullish on Bored Ape Yacht Club, but I think it's important.
Don't be sorry.
If I own an ape, I can do whatever I want with that ape that I own. If I want to have 12 derivatives of that ape, I can do whatever I want. If Rob owns a CryptoPunk, he should be able to do whatever he wants with the CryptoPunk. But he shouldn't be able to make baby CryptoPunk for all the 5,000 CryptoPunks that have ever existed. He shouldn't be able to go create derivatives of all the things. What it does is it confuses the market. Mm-hmm. And if I'm trying to decide like, oh, this looks like a crypto, it's like the grandmas that are buying like, oh, this is a place, Xbox One X versus an Xbox X. Like
Pio, it's like the people buying Bitcoin Cash instead of Bitcoin.
Yes.
Yeah, what's that? What are they doing? Yeah,
It's
no, 100%.
There needs to be some guidance. Yeah.
And so it's cool that
I
they can
can find the fake me bits, but sorry, Malachi, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think like if it's a derivative of something that someone owns, that's awesome, and they should be able to do that. To have some authenticity, like new creation. It's like my favorite artist of all time is Kanye West. Period, hands down. And right, Kanye can take beats that have existed for a long time and create magic with them. And like me just creating a derivative of a CryptoPunk because it's a CryptoPunk and I know it's a derivative of CryptoPunk. It's not something new and authentic that combines apes. Like I actually thought this X copy punks was pretty cool.
I love it.
And X copy thought it was cool too. Yeah.
It's not even by X copy, which is crazy. And they really captured his style, at least in some of them. Maybe not this one, but like these ones for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. X copy made a comment. He's like, yeah, it's cool, but like people should buy authentic art. Like X copy said, like you could buy this, or you could support another artist who's doing something authentic and on their own. And that's the problem right now with OpenSea. And like, why did they let it happen with CryptoPunks but not MeBits? And I understand that question where it's like, if all we're doing is buying derivatives of big projects, like that's not good for the community. What we should be doing is finding cool artists who are creating dope shit and supporting them. And just because I missed out on, like, I'm not trying to go buy a CryptoPunk or an imitation CryptoPunk because I didn't buy it. That being said, like, Rob had a perspective that like the apes didn't do enough to differentiate themselves from the CryptoPunks. I digress. I think they did. I thought the apes were a beautiful project. No, and Rob, I'm not being accusational, but for me, I thought it was dope. I thought it was cool, so I invested in that. I would never buy a derivative of the CryptoPunk that looked like a CryptoPunk. That being said, these X copy punks are the closest thing to a CryptoPunk that I would have bought a derivative of.
Yeah, like I like the 111 project. To me, that was cool art.
That was cool.
I thought that was cool. I like that. And the artist seemed really weird and cool. I like that.
Yeah, find new art, right? There's going to be just FOMO doesn't fix anything. What are the odds that your baby CryptoPunk is going to be worth more than a CryptoPunk? 0. Go find something and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's like there's
I agree with Daniel.
Oh. Yeah.
Daniel said it's good when we disagree.
We disagree on a lot. We try to agree before we get on camera. But I think there's so many projects. Find artists you love. Support those artists. They're going to create dope stuff. There's artist Oaken Arrow right now, Christian. There's so many artists. Showdeer, he's not on right now. Jeffrey Lohman, who's got this crazy 223. Go to our website, jeffreylohmanart.com. He does physical paintings, and he's working on one with Elon Musk. There's so much cool art right now. Spend your ETH on cool artists, because one of those artists is going to be the next Picasso. And we're in Gen Z now. We're going to be more comfortable in digital than not. I think we're in a huge, huge, huge opportunity. Think about 20 years from now. If you're going to hold art for 20 years, if you're going to hold art and pass it down to your kids, would you rather have the baby's cousin's crypto art's aunt, or would you rather have a dope piece of art from an artist that you found on your own on Hin, for instance? There's so many cool opportunities to collect cool art. The derivatives are cool, but the derivatives are limited. Find artists you love, support them.
I'm a big fan of the X copy derivative. I didn't really get the crypto baby punks or the other punk variations that kind of came out, because I just felt like that was a bit of a force. I think that apes being inspired by crypto punks is definitely cool. The most important thing the most important thing about the apes is that the art style just is really awesome. And as soon as I saw them, I liked it right away. I'm actually going to pull it back to one question that came in a minute ago. It said okay, here it is, right? It's from Dabs. It said, established artists are stalling on which platform to debut. This is not a good sign for market growth. I'd say maybe short term, that's a bad sign for market growth. But what it really is the artists wanting to maximize their entrance into the NFT space because they're lifetime artists from, you know, whether they're digital artists or like traditional illustrationists or traditional painters, you know, they're looking to capitalize on the NFT space properly. And of course they should. This is really like a bit of a renaissance. It's an opportunity for them that they've never had before, but they should have always had, that technology is now allowing them to have. And if you think about it, there's so many jobs, there's so many middlemen throughout history that have been removed because of technology. Travel agents, right? You used to literally have to go through a travel agent to book a trip, and then software products like Kayak came out and it's just not a thing anymore. That's in a way the way I view NFTs. It's an opportunity for an artist like No, for example, Noe, who we did an interview with on Nifty Culture recently, that said that he made more off of his first NFT sale than he made in like 2 or 3 years of selling photo prints and in like 10 years of YouTube. And so when I see stuff like that, it just becomes really obvious that NFTs benefit artists in such a way that it's impossible for, you know, the NFT technology to just go away. Like maybe there's ups, of course there's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be peaks and valleys, and some of those valleys will be really, really deep, and they might feel like the market's just done and, you know, you can't make any money. But the bottom line is, for an artist that lives in Korea like Noe to be able to just seamlessly sell one of his photographs to a buyer that's just as happy to receive that NFT as they are to receive a physical print, and it can be done over the internet immediately. Whereas if I wanted to sell one of my physical canvases to someone anywhere in the world, I'd have to ship it internationally for God knows how much. It just becomes really, really clear. And as display technology comes out, it's going to become even clearer. So I think it's actually a good sign that artists are taking time to really, you know, evaluate which platform to drop on.
I'm going to be a hypocrite. And say shout out to Noe. I bought this blue black light piece of art from Noe because once again, I didn't want to give up the ETH at the time, but I could buy this for $100. I'm going to get it framed and put it next to my Takashi Murakami until I can get one of Noe's pieces, because Noe's pieces are expensive and they're awesome, but I could buy a physical print. And that's the thing, is like, how do we price our digital art versus how do we price our physical art? And what's the longevity of that? And so to your point, that's the thing that makes it, like, coincidentally, everyone was complaining that Nifty Gateway was expensive until ETH reached $4,000. And now all of a sudden, if I want to buy on any other platform, it's more expensive than for me to buy on Nifty Gateway. And so it's it's one of these things, like, Nifty Gateway existed to bring retail in to the environment, where now for me to be comfortable in the space, it's more expensive for me to buy art. And what's really cool is, like, there's artists that are on this feed today that I love their art way more than I love anyone who's ever been on Nifty Gateway, much more. And like, most of our followers come from that space. But I also think that it's really cool to own the physical piece. Like, I try to blend them. You can see that I've got the display behind me, and I also have my Takashi behind me. And like, I want to eventually have it be blended, where I can go into my digital space and put on my VR headset. And Rob, I think you're a big fan of that too, where like you love collecting both the digital and non-digital. Do you want to add some color there? Or John, do you have any comments?
John owns neither.
He's got Avegache. If you want to play like digital, and this is the thing, John, you should have.
I'm more of a functional NFT guy. You guys are more of the art appreciation NFT guys.
That is true. Yeah. That's true. No, but man, Malachi, we're so ahead of the curve. I keep telling people this. Of course, we're going to have the initial bubble and then the deflation of speculation, because screen proliferation is not where it needs to be. Dude, as soon as this displays become, you know, just ubiquitous and everywhere, which it will be, they're so cheap, they're getting cheaper and cheaper. As soon as they do, Nifty's is going to all this stuff. We know this. We know this.
I mean, I agree.
Right, John? Right, John?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
You'll eventually own some art, John.
I will. I'm waiting on my $1,000 Bitcoin Angel. That'll be the first one.
Screen print.
Second one. Sorry, I got Thread Kill Art. That was number one. Second one.
All right.
When did you get your Aavegotchi?
When did I get it?
Yeah.
Oh man, months ago.
Shout out to Batdove. Sorry.
Yeah, I only like that project because it was I think the very first one that was gamification and intersection of DeFi with NFTs. That was the cool part of it.
So we're going long. What questions does everyone have?
Hey, I agree. Hey, Daniel has a Giga Chad. He said that down there. And then Kevin said it is like such a fundamental piece for our time. I totally fucking agree with that, dude. That describes so much of a perfect flash in this time period. I would hold that piece forever. That's a great piece.
I'd hold any Beeple forever when you think about it. You know, like Beeple kind of.
I will hold mine forever too. Yes, I will hold mine forever too. Yes. Just even that would be the last one I would sell because that could be just amazing, prominent piece to be like, yeah, look at that.
Straight up. Did I hear John's going to buy a Bitcoin Angel? Because that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, that's it, man. $1,000. Any paper hands.
John, put up a bid right now.
Put a global offer.
Dude, yeah, straight up put up like we should screen share it.
Put it up. Do it.
No,
hey, how about the audience? Everyone viewing right now, how would you like it if every time one of the guys on this thread bought an NFT if we live streamed it? What do you think of that? Because people seem to like it.
If we say we do it, we do it.
How about we do this? Next stream, I will do it. Next stream, I will
You're
do
gonna
it.
buy one?
I gotta move stuff around because my wallet's right. I'll be DOSing
Bro, you
myself.
can't buy with wallets. You gotta pay.
No, bro, it's just credit card, homie. Man, you got
this is straight credit card?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
do it. Do it.
No. That's okay. I got it.
Put some money where your mouth is, man.
Listen. Next week, I'll do it. I'll put the offer in $1,000.
It could be $2,000 next week when Bitcoin goes to 60.
No. I think we're gonna consolidate for a while here. We're not gonna do anything. Bitcoin's gonna consolidate around. We're gonna be here for a couple months.
You think a couple months?
We've been here for a couple months already.
Dude, if we stay in here for a couple months, it's no good.
No.
We need to break out of here, bro.
If we stay flat,
this is long-term consolidation. Your boy Elon Musk was just dumping his Bitcoin, and the market was just been gobbling it. So we got to sit here for a while, let him unload his bags, and then we're ready to take off again.
I have a question.
He did not unload any Bitcoin.
Yeah, but he screwed us.
He did. He
sold a little bit because he wanted 20%. To do a liquidity test. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, what'd you say, John?
He sold 20%.
Yeah, a liquidity test multiple weeks ago.
Here's the question. Hold
He's
on.
not selling any now.
Bro, and John, you missed that discussion. It's the renewable energy credits. That's the only reason that he did this whole play, dude. That's the only reason. He's going to lose the revenue from Chrysler, his number one revenue stream for the renewable energy credits. So he needs to switch industries. So he's now going to be hoping the government does the same type of carbon tax on manufacturing. And lo and behold, he will have the solution.
Well, I don't want to rehash content, man. You and I will take it offline and fill me in.
Right.
I'm going to have to watch the video, man.
That's it. No, that's it. That's it. I mean, what questions do you have about that? John, that's what it is. He's going to lose all that revenue from his number one revenue stream on the renewable energy credits, which has quadrupled the revenue from that sector of his business at Tesla is what made it profitable.
Yeah.
They don't sell cars. They sell renewable energy credits, and their number one buyer is Chrysler. Chrysler made an announcement a few weeks ago that they're going to be net carbon neutral. They do sell
cars, by the way. And they made some money off cars.
Who?
Tesla.
Yeah, but they don't
sell money off cars.
But with
the majority of their profit,
very low profit margin. Very low profit margin. Yes,
the majority of their profit, not all of their profit.
My brain's really slow today. I'm having trouble making a connection. I mean, I understand, but what does it have to do with Bitcoin? I mean, why would he come out against Bitcoin?
So because he's creating he's calling out a problem so that he can fix it. So that he can fix it in a year with a new technology that comes out or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
He also has an order of operations where if him defending Bitcoin conflicts with him protecting Tesla or SpaceX, Bitcoin is lower on his order of operations of protection. Oh my!
That stuff's number one. Look who's here.
Straight up.
Hey guys.
Yes.
He came in right in time for the conversation.
He
Hey, I was
said,
listening.
You
No
need
one
to tell
talks about
John about
Papa
it.
Elon.
No, I follow that, and I could get behind that, right? Because part of what I do on the side, I do some various microgrid development, and so I kind of could see what Elon's trying to do. That makes sense.
How you feeling, Mike?
Okay, right now.
You got a little Bill Gates in you.
Yeah. We'll see how I am in another 5 or 6 hours, but good right now.
You felt compelled to jump in.
Yeah, I had to get in on this Elon talk.
Yes.
Me and Rob's theory. I think it's solid. I think like Rob said it best. He's trying to jump industries right now. He's like all their profits coming from carbon credits from the automotive industry. That's drying up. GM is 100% all in on electric. Ford is going pretty heavy on electric. Chrysler, through via Stellantis, has decided that they're done doing electric, or done buying credits because they did some merger with Pugo or something. So all the big three are basically done with carbon credits in a few more years. So he's got to figure out how he can keep getting those juicy credits, and so he's trying to make some crazy play where somehow he's going to create a crypto carbon credit industry from scratch. And if anybody can come up with some new thing that doesn't exist, it's Elon Musk. He's going to figure it out somehow. And so I think that's what this was all about. Because why would he be so 100% crypto and then all of a sudden and being like Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, and then all of a sudden less than 2 months later, he's like, Bitcoin is the worst thing for the planet.
I don't know, man. I hate to be the cynic on here, but maybe it's just as simple as the leverage longs and leverage shorts. I mean, anybody thought about that? Anybody thought about Elon making a little bit of money on the way up and down? I mean,
no,
he's the richest man in the world.
Billion. I don't know.
He doesn't care about that. He cares about Tesla, SpaceX, and making sure those things win. And he's holding the Bitcoin. He didn't sell any of the Bitcoin, and I don't even think he has any like Dogecoin aside from what he said he bought for his like baby son, so he can be a baby hodler or whatever. But that's what he said. So I want to call out that Daniel's an absolute whale. He says he has 3,000 shares of Tesla, so he knows his Tesla. He also called out John directly and said that John was wrong. Sorry, buddy. So I love the audience just calling people out here.
He's coming Friday for you, John.
Wait. Wrong about what? I missed it. Wrong about what?
Tesla or Elon, I guess. I don't know.
Elon? No, dude, I'm a Elon fan.
Daniel might get more than 15 minutes next Friday. He might be here for a while.
He might be a panelist.
My thought is Elon will do anything to see SpaceX succeed, and that includes shorting and long.
Making money. That makes making money.
That's it.
No, Bitcoin's a distraction. He has a reputation. For him to say I'm going to accept Bitcoin and then say I'm not going to accept Bitcoin anymore. It has to do it's a fight or flight. It either means for him to accept a reputational hit from us crypto bros means that he knows that the value of him not accepting it is more important to the value of SpaceX or more important to the value of Tesla, either because of the EPA, some other investments, these credits or otherwise. He would never, if he didn't have to say that Bitcoin hurt the environment, believe me, I'm sure he wouldn't. The other thing is like he could be creating the next cryptocurrency, and now he's gone.
Here's one other thought, Rob. Really, let me jump in. Let me give some color here. There are a lot of Bitcoin miners right now that are employing a strategy known as load acting as a resource, which means that when the grid gets congested, the grid operators and regulators will actually pay the miners to drop off the grid. So all of a sudden that big demand of mining drops off. And if you think about that, essentially, and you've seen Bitcoiners use this spin, what that is Bitcoin is actually acting as a big battery, right? So if you look at who's in the battery space and who Bitcoin mining acting as a resource competes with, it's Elon Musk. So Bitcoin as a business, specifically in the business Elon wants to disrupt, and if you listen to his conference calls, he's very focused on disrupting the energy industry. Bitcoin poses a problem for him, right? It decreases the need for batteries. So he might not want Bitcoin to succeed because it's at odds with his final end game, and that's disrupting the energy market. Something to think about.
Yeah, I know he's trying to work on a new battery pack in Texas too, somewhere around like
Austin.
Is it Austin?
Yeah, the new Cybertruck factory is also going to be building batteries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I just sent this link over. We were talking about miners for a second. I sent this link over to PO for him to share. So there's this pretty sweet website. I mean, it's buybitcoinworldwide.com. I don't know how reputable or what their game is, but they got this cool chart here. But the little interesting tidbit on this chart is Ethereum miners today, like on a daily basis, are actually making more money on mining Ethereum than Bitcoin miners are making on
Shout out to proof of stake.
Oh, true.
I was going to say, doesn't that change though once it goes to proof of stake?
It does, and
it goes to the stakers.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
so that's
yeah,
trash.
Like, getting burned.
That's awesome, man. If you're a staker, see, PO, this is the deal with Cardano, right? Like, essentially, the way that they and other POs, I'm just going to use that one because you're a fan of Cardano, but the way that they pay their stakers is right, just basically supply dilution, right? They just push it out, and basically it's a necessary evil to validate the chain. Whereas Ethereum 2.0, right, you have actual economic activity that is going to be paying the stakers. So this is a big deal, right? In one case, you actually have people spending money to use the chain, and that money goes to the stakers, as opposed to in the other case where it's just additional supply that's being diluted to stakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're paying via inflation, which is kind of what we're trying to get away from in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, but I thought it was interesting. You know, I'm kind of trying to chew on that 112 million a day number to try to understand like how much of the miners going to try to influence ETH 2.0 from not happening, or at least dragging it out, because there's so much. I mean, that's a huge amount of money at stake for Ethereum to remain proof of work, which is kind of sad because proof of work and the high mining fees are exactly what's holding Ethereum back. But at the same time, it's people are being incentivized by $100 million a day to keep that system in place. So just kind of a crazy conundrum that the Ethereum team and all the Ethereum stakeholders kind of have to grapple with for the next couple of months and couple of years.
Yeah, and that's what Vitalik has acknowledged, that you know, the fact that they've got two competing resources, where Ethereum right now is producing insane gas fees, more and more every day, nifties, and like they're completely at odds with each other in terms of what the future of Ethereum and what the current state is. And how can you create some sort of balance that benefits both, to say that once you move from proof of work to proof of stake, how does everybody win? And I think like that's the biggest concern. Hopefully there's enough people that believe that it can push through, but it's interesting to see what competition really exists right now.
Yeah, what I'm curious to see is once the Ethereum 2.0 transition becomes kind of like clear and set in stone, like it's going to vacuum up all the liquidity out of the Ethereum market, because once everybody knows when it's going to happen for sure, and they know they can collect 5% super safe without this lockup period, then all the liquidity is going to get vacuumed out of the Ethereum market. And when you have like a liquidity ultra crisis, ultra crush,
a supply crunch,
a super supply crunch on a asset,
on a deflationary asset,
then I don't know what's going to happen to the price of that thing.
I do.
I mean, it's going to be a real rocket ship. So that's the other funny thing about that chart, is it's talking about the flippening when Ethereum is inevitably going to take over Bitcoin. I think like once we start getting within 1 month or like 2 months,
I wish people would stop doing that, man. That's my biggest pet peeve. I mean, even as a big ETH fan, I hate to talk about the flipping. I really do. But it's so nonsensical, right? I mean, it's like comparing, apples and oranges. They're completely different things. And why? I mean, I understand, it's a cryptocurrency, and they gotta. But God, man, I wish they would just, be more welcoming. This is just toxic. Nobody that's holding Bitcoin OGs paved the way for what's happening, and it's not how you invite people into a community. It's just
Bitcoin. Well, hopefully most Bitcoin OGs bought a lot of Ethereum as well.
Yeah.
As those coins were coming out, I know I was gobbling them up.
Yeah.
I have more Ethereum than Bitcoin. Not in US dollars, but in actual,
quantity.
Quantity. Yeah, but also, Rob, you have a ton of Ethereum because of all your artworks priced in Ethereum, right? You have more than I do at this point, which is wild. So.
Oh, probably in just art.
Yeah, no,
in just
seriously.
art Ethereum.
Yeah, and one piece of art.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But it's just the CryptoPunks. But the CryptoPunks. Yeah.
Hey, the other thing I was going to see if y'all had talked about is, have y'all ever looked at that rarity site? I'm sure you have, Malachi. Rob, have you pulled up your Meebits or your CryptoPunks on that rarity site?
No.
To see where they're at?
Try it. I'll tell you what numbers on are.
Hey, Malachi, you happen to have the link to it?
Nah.
Is it nonfungible.com?
No, it's linked directly from.
Well, you guys are pulling that up. Daniel had a question like 50-50. I think
from the Apes website has a link to it.
Viller, if you can send it to the chat. Yeah, I think
hold on.
most of us are trying to get to 50-50 ETH, right? When you think about the analogy that Saylor uses, like gold versus oil, like I like that analogy, right? I need transactional volume and I need a store of value. And so like my personal goal is to be near 50-50, but a lot of people may disagree with me. I'm curious what the others, I think that John might be more Ethereum than Bitcoin. Rob's and Pio are probably more Bitcoin than Ethereum. I'm curious what you think a healthy split is, agnostic of fiat.
I was closer to 50-50 before the Elon controversy, and then I reverted back to my more traditional like 75-25 after that. So I weak-handed some BTC into ETH.
Oh no.
But I still think it's probably more bullish long term. I mean, if the biggest what we were talking about yesterday or the day before was like if somebody does figure out the proof of work environmental impact problem, then BTC, that's one of its probably bigger holdups, is that people are just concerned about the environmental impact of BTC. So I think if someone can solve that, then it should be bullish for BTC. So it's possible that, this news was bad on its face, but maybe long term it ends up being a net positive. So this website is kind of cool. Basically what it does is they've come up with their own little ranking.
2919.
Sorry, Rob.
Sorry, no, 2919. Put it in. 2919. There you go. Boom. That's my wife's.
They score each one of them based on just the attributes. And so they have this for apes, they have it for Meebits, they have it for CryptoPunks, they have it for hash masks. All the major projects they have it for.
Autoglyphs?
Nah.
Man.
That one doesn't really have traits though. It has to be one where there's kind of like traits built into the project.
And then 1244.
Nice.
But I saw there's a
Dude, Rob, she's got you beat.
Yeah, I got her a better one. Hers was more expensive when I bought it. Back when it was $450, John, when you said, no, that's it. Don't buy no more. I was like, come on, I should buy a few more. No.
It was a scam, man. It was a gift. Don't buy it.
But some weird stuff. So I remember when Malachi was talking about on the apes. some of the, like, for whatever reason, the 4 trait ones were valuable. And so if you go look at apes and scroll down a little bit, you can see why 4 attributes is valuable. Like, click on that number 35, for instance. Super plain looking, but the reason why 4 is valuable is because there's only 254 apes with 4 traits. So it's the, like, the number of traits that makes the highest rarity. One cool thing with Meebits that I didn't realize, if you jump over to Meebits real fast, there is a pig with 2 noses. Look at that thing.
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
It's a double pig. And it's
3
somehow
eyes.
not even, it's not the most rare one because there's a dissected that has no shirt on, so you can see right through them.
Cool.
But I think it's kind of cool because you can see like how people are kind of, or you can at least see the raw numbers. I don't necessarily know if it translates directly to value. Like
that's the challenge I have, is like these projects demean the artist. Like when we think of one-to-one arts or one-to-few arts, right? So like, and this goes back to the VeeFriends, where I love the VeeFriends project. I love the Larvalets project. I love artists. And for us to compare these, right? Like, how can we functionally as collectors say, this is art, this is a collectible, and this is utility, right? And so like my collectibles, like, rarity doesn't mean beauty, right? Just because it's one of 2, like the apes with 200 attributes, like or the 200 apes with 4 attributes, does that mean that it's the coolest looking ape? Or does it mean that it's one of 200 with the fewest attributes? And so how do we as collectors determine real value? And my biggest concern right now with the FOMO in the space is that we put a bunch of value on rarity. And obviously, like, historically we've done that, but like there's a ton of artists, Christian, who was on earlier, and others who create fantastic art. Now, every piece of art that they create is a 1 of 1 or 1 of 2 or 1 of 3, right? But then we compare them against a Boss Logic who does 1 of 1,000 every day of the week. And I'm a big fan of Boss Logic, but like, we're producing a ton of art that's very accessible. So how do we determine the value that we're willing to spend? And I think when we do these types of analyses, it creates friction for what is truly valuable. Obviously, there's enough collectors. And by the way, most of the owners of Meebits also own a CryptoPunk, which means that they could probably pay off their house with their digital assets. So there's some considerations to put in there to say, like, if I own 2 CryptoPunks and 2 Meebits, I'm probably okay.
Or I'm gonna buy a spaceship.
Bro, take me on your Bitcoin spaceship, wherever we're going.
You Ethereum guys aren't invited. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for watching. It sounds like we're going to have Daniel on next week, our most dedicated viewer, or one of our most dedicated viewers. So really excited for that. I think he's going to school John on something. I don't know. Like we'll figure it out. Everybody, please subscribe to this channel, to the Nifty Culture YouTube channel. Please follow Nifty Culture, NFT Culture on Twitter. We do these every single Friday and put out a lot of content during the week. We'll be dropping some content on NFT displays. So that's going to be some exciting stuff. Malachi, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to NFT Profit. Hey, man, I just want to say thank you. We've been following you with some of your other projects and what you've been doing. So thank you for following us, and thank you for doing what you do. We'd love to reach out and have you on in the near future as well. Just want to give you some credit as well. So sorry, Pio, keep going.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, jump on Nifty Profit. We want to talk to you. And yeah, so just check us out. Check out Escape Velocity and follow me at crypto_PO on Twitter. And yeah, we're going to be putting out more and more content about NFTs, but also just digital assets in general on both channels. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week and throughout the week.